So, this was my first DNF. Like, I couldn't finish this book. It just wasn't going to happen. This is now an auto-click author. Auto-click author. Things between the main characters, it is not for everyone's palates. You see how my face lighted up, right? You see how my face just like, Guys, it's the end of the month and I'm here to let you know what books I read in the month of March. So let's get into this wrap up. Welcome to my channel, Book Craves. I'm just how are you going? And what books did you read in March? Now, I read quite a lot, but I also listened to 2 audiobooks. I DNF'd 1 book, and there's 1 book that I'm still currently reading. I just like stopped and I started to read other books. So that book is not included in my wrap up just because I didn't finish read it, okay? Not because I didn't want to, not because I didn't like it. I just went on to other books that I needed to finish read. I read approximately 29 to 30 books. That's the most books that I've ever read in any given month. Let us get into these books. You know what? And I'm going to start with the book that was really hyped on TikTok, and I find that it was bland. Terms and Conditions. A lot of people like this book. A lot of people didn't like this book. For me, from an interracial romance reader perspective, to me it was bland. I have read quite a lot of interracial, multicultural romances. When I compare it to other interracial romances that I read written by Black authors, the story, it was just bland, okay? It was just bland. Like, I gave this book maybe 2.5 stars. In this book with the heroine, Isis, she is working for Declan. He is going to take over his father's company once he gets married. This is a marriage of convenience, a story. There's also other tropes with this. You have Grumpy Sunshine, the hero Declan, he's very grumpy, and Isis, she just wants to make things work, okay? And there's also a fake relationship, but that's it. It seriously wasn't, there was no excitement, there was no thrill. It definitely was not compelling enough for me. This was my last read for the month and I love it. I've probably spoken about all the books in this series, but Hidden Truths, I think it's like in the top 2. Each book got better and better in this series. Hidden Truths, we meet Leo. Now, Leo was left for last because Leo has the most amount of trauma. This is your dark mafia romance. Leo, he's part of the 4 Kings and he's going to take over for his father. They do the whole illegal stuff, and Catalia, she grew up on the wrong side of the tracks, so she's involved in crime, and she does that so that she can take care of her mom and her younger brother. Something terrible happens. It causes emotional scars, okay? It causes trauma. It was done to her by someone she loved. In comes Leo. They meet. Boom. Leo think, oh, I'm going to get through. But let me just tell you this. Leo is the worst of the kings, okay? This story had me from the first page, okay? There's not a boring moment in this book. There's excitement. I really enjoyed the characters. I really enjoyed the flow of the story. Like, nothing was really predictable in this book. Like, we had some sprinkle of a Russian mafia done in this book. Can we ask for more? No, because this book, I gave this book 5 stars. I absolutely enjoyed this book and the entire series. So these 2 books will reread for me in that I listened to the audiobooks. Now, I read these books, I think, I can't even remember, maybe 2016 or 2015 when it was released. I read a particular book that just had me in a funk, and so I go back to books that I knew I enjoyed back in the day that would help to reset me. And these books help to reset me because now I'm enjoying everything again. So in Scarlet Heat, this is where you have a newly turned vampire and a werewolf, but he's not an ordinary werewolf. And the newly turned vampire, she's only 6 years, she starts to experience things that a female werewolf shifter would be experiencing, such as going into heat. The spice, yes. The story, captivating. Dull moments, what dull moments? There's none. And then we have Ruby Shadows. The female character in Ruby Shadows, she's also in Scarlet Heat. She is a witch, and so she did stuff for the heroine in Scarlet Heat. She went, and whatever she did, she left a particular door open that could only be closed with her like life signature, with her life energy. So Ruby Shadows, it's where you have this witch and this demon, but he's no ordinary demon, right? He's no ordinary person in hell. And so they go on this journey where they have to travel through hell to reach a particular point in hell to close this door. And with her virtue on the line, you know it was spicy. Healed by Darie McCoy. Now, this book breathed life into me because it's exactly what I needed, in that I have been searching for interracial paranormal romances and finding ones that I really enjoy, that's really captivating. It's a challenge. If you have any suggestions, please drop them down below, because I need excitement, I need thrill, I need something that there's going to be so much suspense. I need to be gripped, okay? I need this book to evoke emotions, and he did that for me. So in this book, the hero, he experiences something very traumatic. He is a shifter, and with what he experienced, he remained stuck in his shifter form, in his animal form. And the heroine, she's a vet, and she felt compelled to try to heal him, and she did it, and he came out and he's in his human form. However, because of what happened, we are thrown into this mystery as to what happened to him, what caused him to be stuck, what are the humans doing to shifters. And I can tell there's going to be more in this series. If you want to start this series, definitely start with book 1, Chosen. It is part of the Central Valley series. So I read book 2, Heal, and this is releasing in April this month. Well, this is taking a turn. This book is your forbidden, taboo romance. Plain and simple. This is not everyone's cup of tea. So heed the warnings at the front of this book, because things between the main characters, it is not for everyone's palates. The story is very attention grabbing, in that we have these 2 girls, their parents died, and so their step uncle is raising them. One of the kids, she's 18 years, 17 turning 18, she develops feelings for her step uncle. He tries not to reciprocate. Okay, that spoiler is out of the way. But it's what he does for a living. Like, he's living a double life. And something happens between him and Storm. And Storm starts to live a double life. And then the sister is living a double life. Do you get where I'm going? There's so much suspense in this book that I could not help but continue reading, right? Even with all the forbidden aspect, like, to me, that did not take away from me enjoying the plot of the book, from enjoying the story, what the book is actually about. Yes, it's about Dante and Storm, but there's so many other things that happens besides the nasty between Dante and Storm. Now, you know a mafia or 2 is bound to be in this video, cause that's how I roll, okay? So Dante, this one is part of the Chicago Ruthless Mafia series. And in this book, Dante, he took over from his father to run the Chicago Mafia. However, things happen, like from the first page, the first chapter, things happen because Dante wasn't supposed to be running the Chicago Mafia family. Nope. And then we meet Kate. Kate, she has a no good brother, and her brother has no issues throwing her under the bus, having the mafia do what they want to do with her, use her how they want to use her, abuse her how they want to abuse her. He doesn't care. He has an issue. There's no sisterly, brotherly bond between them. So Dante goes to, get his money from this guy. The sister is there. He takes the sister. That's where you have this forced proximity happening. You have an enemies to lovers happening in this book as well. So yeah, he kidnaps her. He brings her to where he's living, and things escalate between them. This man showed this woman so much compassion because she had her own trauma as well. But the compassion that he showed her, I really loved and I really appreciate. Is this dark? Yes, it is. There's definitely triggers in this, but I absolutely enjoyed it. All right. Wrong for you. Now, I don't normally read single dads. I do read like the cute and heartwarming ones, and this is exactly what this book is. So we have like a nice small town romance, enemies to lovers. It's also a second chance at love with a single dad. Now, how cute is that? The book starts off with where they have been friends and they decide, okay, we're going to get in a relationship. Only for the hero to realize, oh no, I'm going to be a dad. We can't go forward. She's upset because, is it that you were cheating on me? No, there isn't any cheating. Fast forward maybe 5-6 years later, where she comes back to the small town and he is just grumpy. He just has it out for her. To me, he was just unnecessarily mean. Like, there's nothing behind his meanness, in my opinion. Like, she's there, she's being a good person. Why do you have to be all upset about what? But anyhow, the heroine, she is his daughter's dance teacher. So they're always like connecting. They're always seeing each other. Remember, it is a small town. So eventually, things work out really nice between them. But I felt as though he was just unnecessarily mean to her for no reason. It was just like pointless. It was just pointless. But besides that, the story, it is very nice. It is very heartwarming. It is very heartfelt. It's not as swoony and giggly as I thought it would be for small town romance, but it's okay. Take It Down Part 1 and Take It Down Part 2. This is your black love romance. Oh my gosh, you see how my face lighted up, right? You see how my face is like, I enjoyed this book so much. And after I read this book, nothing else compared, which is why I had to go back and pull out some of my favorites from my archives to have a reset. Because this book destroyed me. In this book, the heroine, she and her boyfriend, they do like illegal stuff to get money. They want to live above their means. You can't do that because all of their friends are involved in illegal stuff, but they're open with it. Whereas the two of them, they're portraying as though they're on the right and righteous road. They're on the straight road, whereas they actually dabble a bit in illegal stuff. Well, they dabbled and they interfered with the wrong person because this person came back for their money and for their drugs and they didn't have it. So they needed to pay in some way. And so the big guy decides, okay, the plan is I'm going to take your girlfriend for 3 months. I am going to use her however I see fit. You can't say anything, otherwise you both will die. Right? And he is like he's so injured. And she's like, okay, I'll do it. And so she sacrifices herself for her boyfriend. Only for, I'm not telling you, But yeah, this book is so exciting. And then part 2, oh my goodness, this girl is so talented. It is juicy, it is dramaful, it is messy, and it is exactly what I like, what I need sometime. Now, Fear Me in the Dark. I was really excited to read this book at the beginning of the month. It's good. I just wish it had more. So in this book, the heroine, she has diabetes, and so it is affecting her eye. However, she is involved in scheming. She works in the court as a clerk, but that doesn't pay enough for the lifestyle that she wants and the lifestyle that her mother like encourages her to be in. And so she engages in this scheming. However, her friend did her wrong, and who comes knocking on her door? Yes, the bad guy who runs things comes knocking on her door. And who has to pay for it? She has to pay for it. So there's like a nice development in the relationship between the hero and the heroine. It's not like an instant that thank you ma'am. No, it's not that at all, which I appreciate. There is substance to this story. There is some heartfelt moments in this story. Make me feel in the dark. Oh, I wouldn't say that it's a book with someone that has a physical disability because she can still see, but it's that she's preparing for when her eyesight goes, and to meet someone who's in the game who wants to come out of the game all wrapped up into one. So this was my first DNF. Like, I couldn't finish this book. It just wasn't going to happen. It wasn't, period. It wasn't going to happen. Not that it's a bad story, but the story was just moving along too slow, if you know what I mean. So what the story is about, it's this single dad. He's raising his daughter. He does have some support. And then we have the heroine. She was a dancer and she came back to her town where she opened up her dance school, but she's running low on funds. Like, parents are withdrawing their kids, but there's no other dance school around. So we know something is happening there. And he has an issue with her. He's just like grumpy with her. Why? I don't know. But here's where things get interesting. He's into BDSM. She works in a club from time to time to make ends meet. And so he wants to reintroduce himself after his divorce. He wants to get involved in that. And so he's like, they're just like forming a relationship. However, both of them feel like it's the same, like they feel like they know each other. Listen, it's a nice book. It's probably something that I would enjoy, but the story just wasn't flowing smoothly. It just, I don't know, I just lost interest. I just got bored along the way. It just didn't hold me. Okay, this is another Black love romance. This is now an auto-click author. Auto-click author, okay? Brutalize Me. This is book 3 in the Corrupted Royal series. This is an arranged marriage. But listen, this arranged marriage, it's different. The heroine, her brother arranged a marriage between her and his best friend. The best friend, he wants to do everything that he can to protect her, and so they arrange this marriage so that she is protected, because in book 1 we met her brother, and her brother, they are all enforcers training at this academy. But what I like about the hero and the heroine, the way that their relationship developed, is that it's not that they knew each other, they did not, but when they met, they sort of kind of hit it off. Like, you could feel there was going to be a chemistry, but it wasn't in your face. You had these like awkward moments, which made it very realistic. And then you had moments where things just went smoothly. It was just so nice. No, this is a mafia romance. And for me to see that the story was just like nice in a mafia romance, in a romantic suspense, I enjoyed it. And the plots, it's like someone wanted to break them apart because of something she did. Now, mind you, she has nothing to do with the mafia. Her parents died, and so she was left alone. She was an orphan. She was adopted by someone who is in the mafia. She always expected for an arranged marriage to happen, but her brother did it because they just knew the father had something up his sleeve. But whatever. I enjoyed this book. I loved it. It was nice. You know what I mean? It was nice. Sing for me a fake dating second chance romance. This was also a good one. Really enjoyed this story. So the hero, he is divorced, and so he meets up with his ex and her new husband maybe a year or two after their divorce. And so he's backed in a corner, and he says he's in a relationship with this person and life is going very well. And so they embark on this cooking show project, which the so-called fake girlfriend would be managing. And you just see where it's like she's backed in a corner and he's like a deer caught in the headlight because she's put on the spot and she doesn't know that she has to pretend. Listen, reading this book was very enjoyable. There were other elements in this book in terms of where the ex-wife, she regretted the divorce, and because, you know, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And the heroine, she also had issues with her past relationship, which affected her career choice. And I'm not going to give you much more because then I'll basically be telling you the whole book. But I enjoyed this. This was really nice. This was sweet. This was swoony. This was giggly, right? This had me happy, okay? Happy. This duets, it is dark, but oh my goodness. So if you're into mafia romances, if you're into dark romances, definitely read this one. Now, it's not very dark, but the suspense, it had me in a choke hole. I kid you not. In this book, the heroine, something happens to her husband. He's murdered in front of her and she experiences amnesia. Only for all of that to be like a lie, because she did experience amnesia, but then strange things keep happening. Strange things that she cannot explain. So while she's developing feelings for someone new, her deceitful husband is doing something in the background. That's it. I can't tell you anymore because there's so much more involved. It is very much a complicated, complex story that will have you twisted up, that will have you at the edge of your seat. Thorns of lust and thorns of love. There's betrayal, there's secrets, there's lies, there's backstabbing. Oh my God. I could say so much more. This book is very much, very, very enjoyable. Characters, love the characters, enjoy the plot. Like there's nothing I could find wrong with this book, personally. I received an advanced copy of this book. I think this is my favorite book from this author so far. I think this is my third book, but this is my favorite. It is it's in a medical setting, and it's an enemies to lovers. So Hate to Want You is one where the hero, he sees the heroine with this guy. This guy did something so bad to his family that he automatically dislikes her. She comes back after a few years of being married to the guy, comes back to intern at that same hospital because previously she was a nurse and now she's a doctor. And they have like this forbidden relationship happening between them after he realizes what her ex did, and she understands why he dislikes her ex. And after that, everything is like, whoa. It's not smooth sailing, but what I enjoyed is the tension that builds between them. It's not smack in your face. No, you really feel that push and pull. You really feel the heat increase, and you get to know the characters. Like, I enjoyed the characters. No one was annoying or anything like that. I enjoyed their spunk. I enjoyed everything about this book. Listen, okay? Now, to choose my favorite book that I read this month, it's very difficult. I enjoyed Two Wrongs. This is a forbidden romance, right? That happens in a small town where you have a grumpy sunshine situation. This is not for everyone. It's not for everyone's taste palettes, but I enjoyed it so much. So the heroine finds out that her husband is cheating on her with her best friend. Her husband, dad, finds out with her, but the dad did not like her for several reasons. And as they start to talk, and as he starts to try to support her and just like get her back, they realize that her husband was doing her so much wrong. But the father, the husband father, had feelings for her. And things just escalated. You had like substance abuse in this one as well. Like, when I tell you, there was a lot happening with the heroine in this book. I felt for her. Like, emotionally, I connected with her. And that is because of the writing of the author. Like, I felt compelled to empathize with this girl. So regardless of whether the relationship was forbidden, I love the story. And I'm happy that she got her happily ever after, because this man was a bastard. The husband was a bastard. Ties that bind you. Now, this was on my TBR again. Several books that I mentioned was on my TBR. I did really well on my March TBR. This book, oh my God, this had me like, it's 4 parts in this book. So there's 3 books and the third book has 2 parts. It is an interracial MC romance. And it's from the point that they meet to them getting together, to the heroine discovering that who her father is, her mother dying, getting involved with someone in the MC, and then to be settling in a really nice situation, really nice relationship, only for her to realize that his twin brother raped her roommate, and the roommate is pregnant, and the twin brother is murdered, so her boyfriend is going to adopt the twins, and she's not ready to become a parent. And then you have them fast forward a couple of years because they broke up, and then fast forward more years because 2 of them got married to 2 different people, to come back to make full circle, to make a full circle. Like, they went through so much. Yo, there's not a dull moment in this series. It's just like, and the thing is, it's a multi-layered plot, multi-layered characters, sub this, sub that happening in this book. But you're able to keep track with everything and love all the characters. I read Multiply Meant to Be. This is a really nice slow burn. Not everyone can do a slow burn right, because you need to have that build up, right? You need to have where things are established, and we get this in this book. This is your friends to lovers, right person, wrong time. In this book, the heroine, she is a journalist, and she meets this guy who's a chef, and he has a really bad public image, although he's a really good chef. And so now she has to write this piece on him to do some type of damage control because of what someone wrote about him in a previous article. And they become like really good friends. He's engaged, she's in a relationship. Turns out, bam, something happened to her, so then she becomes single, and he gets married. Something happens, they go their separate ways, but they remain friends and support each other until it's the right time when they meet and they come together and they have this fantastic relationship. And the thing is, from the time they met to when they formed their relationship, they remained friends. Like, there was no like feelings really to go outside of the friendship boundaries until they were both single, until they were both healed from what happened to them in their past relationships. Really good. This was a wild read. Fullerton with chaos. When I tell you it's wild, it is wild. You have these two young adults where their parents were superstars, right? Musicians. One experienced trauma due to her father abusing drugs and just having like a mental break. And the other, his father he's just wild. He hasn't settled down. He doesn't know anything about being a parent. And so because their parents were part of the same band, they became friends, only for them to grow up differently, but always remained really close friends. And so she decided that she wanted this person, this individual, to pop her cherry. And only for her to realize that she may have some feelings for the dad, which was nipped in the bud. But it's just the way that they went about things in terms of healing, because both of them have their own trauma, and the way that they were healing from that trauma wasn't healthy. And so it's just a wild ride with them. I've never read anything like this. And this is from Kenya. I've never read anything like this. And this is from the series Crazy in Love. So what does that say? What does that say? Whew, y'all, we are still going. We are still going. This is the first book that I've read by this author, Bad Guy, and dark, like more BDSM elements of organized crime as well as in this book. And you have a very curvy heroine who is a chef, and she is blackmailed into becoming his submissive. And she does this to protect her brother. Her brother and his friends keep hacking their systems. So when the hero discovers who it is, he's like, okay, it's either that you become my submissive or they get tossed into prison. This one took me by surprise. This is an interracial romance as well, but it's with an Asian man and a black female with curves. But this one was very interesting for me. It didn't have as much as the organized crime that I liked. It was more focused on the characters. It was very much character driven and not so much plot driven. I ain't going to lie, but this was one of my favorite reads in the month of March. Fisco. Oh my goodness. I am actually going to look for more books by this author and read it, because the story, again, I'm into plot driven books. The plot, damn it. And the characters, listen, the spice is there. The storyline is there. The story development, it is there. It's thrilling. It's captivating. So we meet the heroine. She's a nurse. Her friends are content creators, they're influencers, and so they go to this party. Her dad is a cop, and so he usually tells her to stay out of a particular area. She goes and she meets Frisco. Frisco, he runs things, right? His family is involved in organized crime. And he thinks she knows something, and so he decides that he's going to strike up a relationship with her to find out what she knows, only for everything to backfire, because you know why? He's in a relationship. So you have a fake dating situation happening. You have cheating happening. Juicy, messy, filled with drama, exactly how I enjoy stories. You know, someone had to get hurt. But anyhow, I really enjoyed this black love romance. They call him Nas. This is organized crime theme. This is a black love romance. This is your fake dating that happens between a hero who is involved in organized crime and the heroine. She runs an upscale, upper class escort service. So you have your crime boss, you have black love, you have organized crime, and you have a fake relationship with one bed, because he forces her to take him on as her personal client, which she never does. And so they embark on this situation. He is dealing with a lot in terms of his grief. He lost someone very close to him, and so he keeps blaming himself, and he's scared of getting involved in any type of relationship because of that grief. So you have a lot of healing taking place. You don't have plenty organized crime things happening. This is more character focused on healing and his grief and the fake relationship. There's no crime stuff happening at all in this one. This is part of a series. So I started the series in February, but I read this book in the beginning of March. And this is Your Enemies to Lovers. Now, in this book, the hero, he is a player. He doesn't settle for one female. And the heroine, she was abused at a young age. No one believed her. And she's still dealing with that. She still has trauma from that. She hasn't healed, period. And now the guy that was doing it to her is released. And for that type of couple to form a relationship, it comes with its challenges, because he has to want to be with her and she has to be able to be with him, not just physically but mentally and emotionally. I enjoyed this book because, you know why? She's not easy. She is a spitfire. She is sassy. When I tell you she's not easy, she's not easy. He says something, she is going to give it back to him in tenfolds. And they're both business savvy. Love it. I read Sinful Vow by Monique. This is your mafia, organized crime book, which I love. There's also an arranged marriage. Okay, but listen, there's so much lies and deceit in this. Like, oh my goodness, it's just like plop, plop, plop. You think it's going one way and everything switches. I'm like, oh my goodness, how? So in this book, the hero, he is part of a mafia family. She's part of a mafia family. They know each other, but they pretend not to know each other. And so they keep on the facade until after the wedding. Listen, I have to continue the series, but the heroine, y'all know I am all for a strong, badass, kick-ass heroine. And oh my goodness, she's it. She's it. Haven't gotten one of those in a while. But if you're looking for kick-ass, badass heroine with plot twists, read this book. Read this book. I also read Deal with the Devil. This one, oh my God, there's twins, there's deceit, there is organized crime, but it's not in your face organized crime, but there's illegal things happening. So in this story, we meet a heroine. She has no money, she has nothing. And so she goes to this club with her friend because she wants to get rid of her V-card and everything, right? So she hooks up with this guy. They don't exchange numbers. They only know first names. She knows nothing about this guy. And now something's going on with her aunt who runs a library. And so she's tired of this family that has the most amount of wealth in their town. She's tired of what they're doing. And her aunt gets involved in a situation where she can't afford to pay back money. And so she goes to their estate and she's there talking to the guy that she thought she slept with, only to realize that it's not him, that he has a twin. And the twin gives her a proposition. And when she discovers that she's pregnant, well, you know, certain things are going to happen. In terms of the hero, I'm not going to talk about the twin that popped her cherry, but the twin that she's falling in love with. There's a situation where whoever gets married first and whoever has a baby first, they would inherit everything. They would inherit the empire from their grandfather. So there's so much lies, betrayal, deceit, like, I don't know. But this one had me at the edge of my seat because I'm like, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? The level of suspense in this book, I absolutely enjoyed, y'all. This one, Deal with the Devil, because let me tell you, he's a devil. He is a devil in disguise. I kid you not. Thank you so much for watching this video. Like, I read so many books in this month, and I feel like going forward I may need to do like a mid-month wrap-up because it's so much books. It's too much books. But I have been reading so many good books. Make sure to check me out on my various social media platforms and look out until I post another one.